1.4 billion Indian hearts full of gratitude say thank you to two magnanimous Aussies for their generosity. One of them, Bretley, is back with us on T20 Crazy on SportsAdda, powered by SportsBet.io. Words fail us. Binga, on behalf of India, I thank Pat Cummins. I thank you, Binga. You are a man with a heart of gold, and your gesture earlier this week was perhaps another way of saying to us, "हाँ मैं तुम्हारा हूँ, तुम्हारा ही रहूँगा." Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, it's an absolute pleasure, and I guess everyone can do things in different formats or different ways. What we're trying to say to the Indian community is to stay home and stay safe, and that's their best way of, I guess, putting back in. But look, it's I've been so lucky and fortunate to come to your beautiful country for over 25 years now, and I want to continue to do so. And we just want to make sure that we get to the bottom of this issue as quickly as possible.
Yes, we shall overcome, all of us, not just India, but the whole world will. Now, on to the cricket. Binga, what an amazing day Sir Ravindra Jadeja had against Bangalore. He scored an unbeaten 62 of 28, 5 sixes, all of them against Harshal Patel in that one over. Is there anything this man cannot do?
Well, there's been a call. I mean, I know that we always celebrate Dhoni's birthday and Sachin Tendulkar's birthday, but maybe there should be a Ravi Jadeja Day dedicated for him on that particular day. I mean, that's up there with the best cricket I've ever seen, in terms of, to get 37 off one over, the most expensive over in IPL, you can see there on the screen, far out. I mean, he just dominated. And look, yes, there were a couple of full tosses in the over, but the way that he could demonstrate and illustrate how he could turn an okay ball into a negative ball and hit it for 6 and just dominate, then go out and back it up in the field, run outs, and then take wickets. I mean, these days don't happen that often where you dominate with the bat or the ball or in the field, but to combine that collectively, it's out of this world.
Unforgettable for all of us, and more so for Harshal Patel. 5 sixes, and well, talking of sixes, the Hyderabad side have won just one of their 6 games so far and are languishing at the bottom of the points table. And here's how every Hyderabad fan is feeling right now. Let's take a look. A forlorn, sad-looking Johnny Bairstow. What's the issue with Hyderabad? Why such selection calls? Why no Johnny Bairstow in that super over? Can you give us a reason for that? Why?
Yeah, look, there are a lot of things that have happened throughout this IPL where I've questioned the tactics from a lot of the captains and I guess the coaches. Why would Johnny Bairstow not be thrown in to try and bombard hit sixes? I mean, that to me was just ludicrous. I thought he would have been given the chance to open the batting. David Warner, I do believe, was also the right choice, but it's one of those things where Bairstow, that's his style of cricket. That really would have suited the way that he plays. So yeah, I was a little bit confused.
On the other hand, people often talk about how this game is all about confidence. How about the confidence of Sir Patel to go up to Rishabh Pant and tell him that he's going to bowl the super over in that game against Hyderabad? Remember, he was playing his first game of the season with no R. Ashwin around. How crucial is it for Delhi to have such players stepping up and taking responsibility?
Yeah, and look, that was a wonderful piece of captaincy as well. On there's times in this IPL where we've seen captains probably get it wrong, but there's also been captains get it right, and that was a great example of that because I don't believe that the other team was prepared for a spinner. I thought they thought it was going to be a quick for sure. Axar Patel came in and bowled beautifully to restrict, a minimum amount of runs. In a super over, Manish, I think the sort of borderline or sort of where you want to be is around that 10 run mark. If you can get 10 runs on the board and set 10 runs first, you can defend 10 runs. When it's below 10 runs, it's very hard to defend 10 runs. So, I mean, that was incredible.
I made a mistake today. I should have worn a t-shirt with the collar because I wanted to sort of put my collars up as a Mumbaikar. Because guess what Mumbaikars are doing at the league? Whether they play for Mumbai or not, they're doing some really, really amazing things. One such man, a little man from Mumbai, Prithvi Shaw for Delhi, did the unthinkable. Well, not the unthinkable, but something that perhaps not many expected at this point. 6 boundaries in that one over of Shivam Mavi, and guess what, Binga? 2 Mumbaikars have done it so far in the history of the league. One was Ajinkya Rahane back in 2012, and now it is Prithvi Shaw. Both Mumbaikars, both doing it against bowlers whose name starts with S. What did you make of that one magical Prithvi Shaw show of batting? 6 boundaries.
Yeah, look, firstly, Shiva Mavi and Priti Shaw played under 19s together, so they know each other very, very well. And I saw a clip on Star Sports after where they were wrestling each other and pinching each other and having a bit of fun, which is great for the game of cricket. But the way that he batted, I mean, the first ball went for a wide, which he couldn't touch, and then went 4-4-4-4-4-4-4. I mean, 25 off the over. Priti Shaw is the batsman that, when we watch him, we get so excited because he's like a little Virender Sehwag. And I don't want to pigeonhole him into, being an explosive, aggressive player, because he can play proper cricket shots too, as could Virender Sehwag, who was one of the best Test batsmen to watch. But I mean, this guy is incredible. I'm looking forward to when he gets back in the Test arena. Great to watch. And we're thinking, surely you can't go for one more four. Surely you can't. And of course, he did.
You know a thing or two about little men from Mumbai swashing their bat like a toothpick, don't you? It's happened to you in the past. Not 6-4, but it has happened.
It's happened a few times. I've been on the receiving end of many punishments from the great Sachin Tendulkar, of course.
Right, it's always okay to show off what Sachin's done against the world's best, right? But guess what? We're also confident and want to show that off with a new segment called Sundries. If you've heard of that word and you know its meaning, well done. You are a certified cricket lover. Please contact us for your services. It's a new week, it's a new segment, Brett. In this segment, we will talk about things that often sort of go under the radar of most people, but not us. We're awake, alert, aware. We're always watching. We're going to ensure we talk about these points and hit them to the boundary. The first one is, does the toss get too critical in T20s? Now, in the games that we've seen in Ahmedabad, in the first innings, the pitch has been a bit tacky, not so easy to bat on. But in the second innings, it becomes a lot easier with the dew. So how does a bowling side adapt to a situation like this, and how should a team batting first approach their game at such a venue?
Look, I think the first part of that question is spot on, because there's a massive reliance on the toss. Now, if you lose the toss and you're playing on a ground that is quite rough and hard to bat on first, what happens is when the dew forms, when you're batting second, it's actually easier to bat because it's harder to bowl. The ball's wet, the ball skids on nicely, it won't get that grip and turn. So there's a lot of relevance at the toss. So if you win the toss, you're generally going to win the game, which I don't believe is always the right way to play cricket. Now, how do you overcome that? I'm not sure of the answer, because, do you have, one time where both teams play each other and they just get to choose what they want to do, then the next time the other team gets to choose what they want to do? There's no skill in a toss. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance. So it just comes down to probability, and it's a guessing game. But yeah, look, it's tough when you're playing on a surface, as I mentioned before, that is very, very hard to bat on in the first half, and the second half becomes a lot easier. As a cricket lover, you want to make the game fair, and it's just coming down to the toss.
Mumbai are searching for answers as well. They have a PP problem, not a power play problem, but a Pandya power problem. Both the Pandya brothers have looked far from their best. The highest score between them is 39, I think it is, which came against Rajasthan off Krunal's bat. How worried should Mumbai be about their form going into the business end of the tournament? They've got to click if Mumbai have to repeat their magic of last year.
Yeah, look, I'm sort of hoping and believing that someone like a Hardik Pandya, he will come, back into his own structure very, very shortly. He's only scored in the 30s. I mean, that is so unlike Hardik Pandya. Krunal Pandya is where you can see there on the left. He got a decent score against Rajasthan, and that was a nice little cameo. But his brother, he's been struggling, and he hasn't taken a wicket. Hardik Pandya hasn't bowled, so he hasn't been given the chance, I guess, to take a lot of wickets. But when you talk about the Pandya brothers, firstly Hardik, I mean, he's world class. We all know he's world class, which is why we expect more when he goes out to play, because we're hoping that he goes out and shows us how good he is, because he's done it for so many, many years. But, does it come a time where if he keeps missing out the next 2 or 3 games, does it come a time where they go, mate, you need to try something different? Or, does he rest from the team? Do they try a different combination? I do believe champions always step up, and Hardik Pandya is only 1 or 2 games away from a big score, and he'll come out and he'll flourish and he'll pick off 50 odd runs in 15-20 balls.
No such problems for the Big Show, who seems to be on a roll this season. Now, Bangalore are going to play Kolkata in the coming week. And the Big Show, Glenn Maxwell, will be eager to put on another show, won't he? Have a look at his numbers against Kolkata in the history of this league. A striker to 152, pretty decent average as well. So no surprise that he will do well again.
Yeah, well, I think he's really enjoying playing a different jersey for a different team. In terms of his average, he's about 12 or 13 runs above his average that he has had over the last several years of playing for the IPL. And I think I said it last time, but when you talk about AB de Villiers, you talk about Virat Kohli, who are the two big dogs in terms of world cricket. Maxwell comes in as the Big Show and the big dog too, but he's always been the leader of the pack when he comes into a new team. Pressure's always on him as a player to step up and score runs. Now when he comes in a side and he can go below ABD and Virat Kohli, he can slide in under the radar nicely and be able to play his natural game without the pressure on him. I think he also enjoys the captaincy and leadership skills of Virat Kohli. So although we're getting a lot of praise to Maxwell, who's had a great season so far, averaging over 30, and will continue to do so with a great strike rate of over 150, I think a lot of praise has to go to his captain, Virat Kohli, for the way he's playing.
We'll see if the Big Show has another good week at the league, but guess what? Someone has had a miserable week with his predictions, and that's my cue for our next segment, which is Binger's Notebook. What's up, Mr. Lee? You got 1 of 5 wrong last week. Now you got 1 of 5 right. You are consistent, but in a very different way. What's up with you? 4 wrong? Just 1 right?
Yeah. Look, just trying to make it out there for the viewers that I'll have a week where I don't get a lot right. I'll have a week where I'll dominate. Nah, look, this was a poor week for me in terms of my predictions. I was outstanding in the select dugout, I must say. I dominated with my predictions with the wicket alerts, but it's pretty ordinary this week. And there were a few upsets. I think still I would go back and have a look at that week and say that my predictions would have came true if I believed the players were playing in the right positions. And that's not a dig at the captains or the coaches, but for example, last night, Pat Cummins doesn't bowl until the 6th over or something. I mean, he's one of the world's best bowlers. Give the guy the ball. You can't come on trying to defend 150 and, they're 25 off the first over and then it goes downhill and he still doesn't bowl. I mean, wow.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But life always offers more opportunities, and we have a few more predictions that we expect from you. So we're looking at about, I think, 8 matches in the coming week, and we need your predictions for this one. But the first question, as always, is which is the one game you're looking forward to the most?
Well, as we always say, every single week is a very, very important week. I think in terms of CSK, I'm looking for the Mumbai versus Chennai game on the 1st of May. I think, Mumbai is sitting 4th on the table, had 2 losses, 3 wins. And you think about the Chennai Super Kings, they've been in great form, sitting high and proud on 10 points. To me, that's going to be a big, big game, because I earmarked those two to be at the sort of top of the top 4 when it comes to the playoffs. So the Mumbai versus Chennai game on the 1st of May is going to be a cracker.
Yes, in the capital city, it's the 2 champion sides, the defending champions versus MSG's Chennai. That should be a big one. But now time for a few specific predictions. Bring up Punjab take on a side. They've taken players from, inspiration from, jerseys from Bangalore. Now that game will be played in Ahmedabad. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I'm going to go Bangalore. I think that Punjab are still a little bit behind the 8 ball. They still haven't found their best combination yet. I do believe that they have to inject back in those Australian fast bowlers at some stage. They've picked their team around the fast bowlers, and they gave them a couple of games. And yes, they did. They didn't play the best style of cricket that they could have, but they're quality bowlers. I think get them back in, then they'll start winning again. But it's going to be Bangalore for me.
Yes, and you did speak about the big one, Mumbai versus Chennai. That's the El Clasico of the league. Mumbai will take on Chennai at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. There will be Surya Kumar Yadav, Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, all of them itching to come good. But Brett, specific prediction, who do you think will be the top scorer for Mumbai?
I think it'll be Quinton de Kock. He's been in good form this week already. He was wanting some runs. He was wanting some time at the crease. He got both this week. His technique looks good. They didn't try the spin option to him early on, which they could do from Chennai, which might upset his rhythm. But for me, it's Quinton de Kock this week to get some runs.
Pretty interesting pick. It's not just about a batsman's game. Let's now get talking about the bowlers as well. Now, Rajasthan host Hyderabad in the first game of the doubleheader on the 2nd of May. Brett, we'll see Rashid Khan, Jaydev Unadkat, Chris Morris, Sandeep Sharma in action. Please tell us, the best bowler will be from which side?
Well, they've both got a strong bowling attack. You think about the Rajasthan Royals, and they've been there and thereabouts. Unfortunately, they're 7th on the table at the moment. You talk about Hyderabad, they're sitting last, but I still do believe that Hyderabad have got a very good bowling attack. So I'm going to go with the Orange Army. I think that they've got a strong attack, and hopefully they can step up this week.
Now, they may not be winning points on the field, but they do seem to enjoy Binga's backing. Right, next up is a fixture between two teams with plenty of six-hitters in their squad. Punjab will face off against Delhi at Ahmedabad. Which team do you think, Binga, will hit the most sixes?
Well, the easy option, I think, is to go with Delhi. However, I'm going to go Punjab. I think that Punjab, with a few more matches underneath their belt, with some more experience, maybe a rejig with the team, so a restructure with the team, I'm going to go Punjab.
Right, time for the last one. Kolkata will lock horns with Bangalore. This one, again, will be played in Ahmedabad. You think the big show will come good against Kolkata once again? Will he score a 50? Yes, no? Simple answer.
Well, the IPL's the big show, and the big show's playing in the IPL, so yes, he's going to go past 50 this week.
Okay, it's that time of the show when I ask you if you're sure of what you picked. You still have an opportunity to change your answers, Binga.
Well, that's a beautiful segue into what happened last night with Pretty Sure, and yes, I'm pretty sure I'm happy with my...
Good. I like cricketers who indulge in good quality punning. Now, on that note, we're going to lock these answers and move on to a segment that's become super popular. It's now time on T20 Crazy for #AskBinga. Right away, the first question comes to Brett Lee from a young lady called Sonali. Here we go.
Hi Brett, this is Sonali Sharma from Bombay, and my question to you is, do you think that captaincy affects the natural pace at which a batsman bats? Because we've been seeing a lot of players play very unlike themselves during this IPL, like Warner, Rahul, Pant, and even Kohli at times. So I was wondering what you think the reason for that could be. Thank you so much.
Hello, Sonali. Upsi Milky Kushi Hoy. Look, I think that there's a lot of pressure on the captains, and it's a very good point, a very astute point that you make as a cricket lover about the captains of the respective sides, that they might be playing a little bit below their normal strike rate. So, yeah, I think that there's the added pressure of them trying to step up as a leader of the team, not only as a captain, but also as one of their key batsmen. So, yeah, I think it would put a lot of pressure on them. But at the end of the day, they are captain, but they're also there to score runs. So hopefully they can remove their captaincy mark when they're at their batting and score a bit more freely.
Moving on, I think Rock Team has a question, and this one I think is on the Chennai side. Here we go.
Hey Brett, this is Raktin from Kolkata. My question to you is, what has made Chennai better this season? Is it Raina's comeback, Indian pitches, or anything else? Because they almost had similar squad last season, but they couldn't win the matches. Thank you.
Hey Raktin, thank you very much for your message, and nice to see you're enjoying watching the IPL. Yeah, look, I think it's a combination of all those things. They're playing on different pitches now. They've come from UAE back to, playing a lot of games in Chennai where they're obviously suited. They know the wickets a lot better. The squad's pretty similar. We lost Watson, obviously, who through retirement. Suresh Raina's come back, which I think's been a great injection to their team. But I just believe it comes down to experience. They've got some bowlers doing a great job with that brand new ball. They've got batsmen up there like Faf du Plessis, who's playing some decent cricket. Raina's back, obviously scoring runs. So it's a combination of all those, but I think it's back playing on Indian wickets.
And finally, a question from Sagar on Sir Ravi Jadeja's new good friend, Harshal Patel. Here we go.
Hi Binga, this is Sagar here from Pune. My question to you is, In the past 5 seasons, Harshal Patel had taken a total of 16 wickets. But this season, he has taken 17 wickets in just 6 matches. So what do you think he is doing that's going well for him right now?
Hey Saga, thank you also for your great message and your question. Look, there's been a fair bit written in the press about Harshal Patel about how he's just throwing the ball up there and taking wickets. But I can promise you that's not the case. And if you look at where he's got his wickets, yes, there might have been some wickets caught in the boundary and some batsmen going for a big slog. But at the end of the day, you still have to deliver that ball. You still have to execute your plans. And he's done that. So the game is funny. The game of cricket can be, in swings and roundabouts where you bowl a beautiful ball, you don't get the nick, and then all of a sudden you put enough balls in the right area and luck is on your side. So he's having a lot of fortune this year. He's bowling some really, really good areas. He's getting some key batsmen out. So this is a time as a bowler when luck is on your side that you have to cash in. 17 wickets, as you mentioned. He's up for the purple cap. It's a very, very good chance of taking it out this season.
Right, thanks so much, Binga. We are approaching the halfway mark of the tournament, and remember, if you want Mr. Lee to answer your questions, please do leave your questions for us in the comment section. In fact, record a video so that we can show your pretty faces. We can show how passionate you are. If you want Mr. Lee to answer your questions, do send us your videos and make sure you tag us on social media for us to get those questions. Time now for the final lap of this week's episode. It's time for the end game. This is where you not only win Brett Lee signed exclusive merchandise, but also get a lovely Pucci from Brett. But before we get to the question for the next week, let's first answer the question that was asked last week. Binga, what was the answer?
Who was my first test wicket? Well, it was Ramesh. And the winner is Rajeska Budu. Hopefully I pronounced that pretty close. And the funny thing about Ramesh is that I've actually done a fair bit of commentary with him over here in India, and every time that we work together as a team, they always flash up the replay of me getting him out, which is quite funny. Funny for me, not funny for him.
Well, I did give you guys a cue last week, remember? I told you that he's acted in a film. He's done a film called Potta Potti. It's a Tamil film where he's shown wearing the India blue jersey. So you can look that up online as well. Sadagopan Ramesh is a man of many, many talents. But do you have it in you to answer this week's question? Binga, what do you have for us for this week?
Okay, so the man of the match of the first ever men's T20 is right now the head coach of an Indian T20 League side. Can you name him? Tough, but I reckon some fans will get this.
Let me give you a cue. India has had a slight love-hate relationship with him, especially when it comes to World Cup finals. You know what I'm pointing at, right? Think about that, send us your answers, and who knows, you will get a Pyar Bhari Pucci from Brett Lee. But guess what we want to leave you with as we say goodbye on T20 Crazy on SportsAdda, powered by SportsBet.io. We're going to leave you with 2 words that can save your life, my life, the country, the planet. 2 very important words. Remember, mask up.
Yes. And I'll do it right on cue as well. Wear a mask. Most importantly, wear a mask. Stay at home when you can. Social distance. Wash your hands. Stay safe.